Hello and welcome to my review of the iPhone 6. Right, here is the iPhone 6. It looks very nice in my opinion. So, we're going to get to the right hand side. We have the SIM ejection tray. Then we have the power button, which has been moved from the top. As you can see there, we have nothing on the top compared to the old iPhones. Then we have the mute and orientation lock right above. The volume buttons, they are very nice and have a nice consistency to the click. Then at the bottom we have the 3.5mm headphone jack, the microphone, then we have the lightning cable and also the speakers. Then at the back we have the camera, then the mic, and then the LED. We have the Apple logo and then iPhone written there. Then we have the antenna cables as well. At the front we have the camera, then we have the earpiece, then we have the Touch ID sensor, which I have used and I found very helpful over time of using this iPhone. As you can see, the device is made out of a singular piece of aluminium. This means that it has a very nice build quality in the hand and it does feel quite nice and very robust as such. The device has got the Apple logo at the back, and it's been sort of like stamped in slightly, but the actual logo sort of sits right flush with the metal, which means it looks very nice. But something else that really has bugged me is the camera, and it's been sticking out, so when you put the phone on the table it rocks slightly, but it's nothing too major. It's just something that bugs me while having the phone flat on the table. There is many other things about this device, such as the antennae. The antennae are white all the way around the top and the bottom of the device, and this is the only way Apple could incorporate an aluminium design into their iPhone and still have the antennae working, which is annoying, but I think it's could be overlooked. One of the main things I really do like about this device is the Touch ID sensor. I think it has a very high quality feel to it. Also along the bottom, the device feels very premium because all the speakers and the ports feel very durable as such, which makes the device very easy to use and very comfortable to use in one hand and not have to worry about it breaking. Also, the buttons are very well manufactured, and I would highly like to see other devices using this if they are made out of aluminium, such as the HTC One. The iPhone is setting the standards for how the build quality is at the moment, which I think will be beaten by the LG if it's metal, and also the HTC that is coming. The display on the iPhone 6 isn't a massive display because it's not the iPhone 6 Plus. The iPhone 6 Plus is supposed to be the phablet phone, and this is supposed to be the average consumer phone. The screen on the iPhone 6 is 4.7 inches and it has a pixel density of 326, which means it has 750 by 134 pixels for the pixel count overall. When I do look at the display, I do think it looks really nice, it looks really crisp, but I've seen 4K displays now and really it should be catching up with 4K, so it's not the best. Also, it has it's shatterproof glass, and it's got an aliphobic coating, which means it's a bit like scratch resistant basically. The CPU on the device is a dual-core 1.4 GHz Cyclone ARM ARM V8 base, and it's very quick actually and very snappy. But this is mostly because the software has been optimized for the device rather than the device optimized for the software. So overall, I do think it could be improved, but it's running fine for an iPhone as always. The GPU is a PowerVR GX6450, and this is quad-core graphics, which means it'll be really quick. Next, we're going on to the RAM, and the RAM has got nothing special. It's 1 gig. Nowadays, you expect to have a higher-end smartphone, so the top sort of smartphones to have 2 to 3 or maybe 4 now gig RAM. But no, Google have introduced the 64-bit architecture after Apple, and Apple still haven't optimized the full potential in RAM and hardware. but it's fine, it runs fine. As I said, the software is heavily optimized for the device. The iPhone 6 is a very expensive device because it is a higher end device obviously, but Apple do slightly overprice their devices. So right, here are the prices. For the 16GB model, we have £540 off contract. For a 32GB model, £620, and for the 128GB, the massive storage, is £700 off contract. Obviously the iPhone 6 Plus is going to cost quite a bit more, but overall it is very expensive for a smartphone. Also, they have removed the 64GB variant, which in my personal opinion, between the 32GB and 64, they are the sweet spot in memory capacities for your device. So it is rather expensive to get an iPhone 6. So we're going to take a look at the software and what that has to do with how expensive the device is. The iPhone 6 is running iOS 8, which is the latest version of iOS. It is very easy and very responsive, and overall the phone has been very well optimized for the hardware and the software put together. Some of the new features that have been introduced on the iOS 8 for iPhone 6 is that if you double tap lightly, as I'm showing here, if it will bring down the whole screen, and this is basically to make the app a lot easier. Next of all, the features that have been added into the camera, such as slow-mo, which were also on the iPhone 6, but the whole point of iOS is that it's easy and quick to use. So it runs very well, and I was very surprised at how well it ran on a bigger screen. So things like the camera app run really well, and I'm just showing off the slow-mo capabilities because they are really good. They are 240 frames per second if you have it the settings turned on, but you can also have it 120. But it is very good and very responsive, and I really enjoyed using this phone as for a bit. It wasn't long, but overall I did really enjoy using it. The iPhone 6 has an 8 megapixel sensor, which isn't big, it's only 8 megapixels, but the main thing is it takes beautiful images. It can become grainy when zooming in, but I have taken some amazing pictures and they look crisp every single time on iPhone. The main thing is it has dual tone flash, which means when you take pictures with the flash it will have much better colour accuracy of skin and stuff like that. Overall, the camera has a lot of features, but quite a lot of it's software. The video on it is 60 frames per second at 1080p, but then if you go down to 720, you can have 240 frames per second, which is outstanding. That is, it's really good. I showed you this earlier, just briefly, but it is absolutely amazing. The front camera on this device is only a 1.2 megapixel and has 720p at 30 frames per second, but this is only if you want to do FaceTime or Skype, stuff like that, so you don't really need the best camera. But overall the cameras are really good on this device, and I would highly recommend it. If you want a good camera phone, this might be one of your options. But also take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Note series and also the Nokia series. Even if it's got Windows, it has the high megapixels such as the one with 40. That really is a great device. Right guys, conclusion time. Overall, I do think this iPhone is very expensive for what it is, and the specs aren't great, but the software runs amazing, the camera is really good, and if you want an Apple device, you know what you're getting. You're going to get the reliable software, the reliable hardware. So if you brought into the ecosystem of Apple, or you really want an iPhone that's reliable, or just a phone in general that's reliable, go for the iPhone. Thank you guys for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time with a new video.
All your worries, leave your side, free your mind.